Hi everyone, Marianne here, Revealing Light, Tarot, Astrology and Spirituality. I'm here to do the, nice, Wheel of Fortune, the second part of the reading, where I'm going to go a little bit broader than Trump, and let's look at some of these world issues. Maybe we could start with Ukraine and Russia. Ukraine's making fantastic inroads, particularly around that Crimea region. And I want to know if they're going to take Crimea back. There's some talk about blowing up that bridge that links Russia to Crimea. And then that would then push Russia out because they don't want to be stranded in Crimea, do they? So I want to see if they can actually take back Crimea. They've just really pushed the Russians back in the last, I don't know, I can't remember my 6-month Russia-Ukraine reading, but I do recall saying July was really an instrumental month. And we then move, it's not a quick solution here. This war's going to keep going for the latter part of this year. And I do see February being a key month for Putin. Someone asked, will Medvedev, who was, I think, the Prime Minister, he might still even be the Prime Minister of Russia, or a former Prime Minister. There was just a slight orb that moved there. Whenever I encounter the orbs, it's an important topic or validation of what I'm getting. Will he replace Putin? Some are saying he's worse than Putin. I can tell you now, very few in this decade, century, century are worse than Putin. Okay, so let's have a look at, and also I want to go to the UK government. They're facing huge energy problems there in the UK. It's horrendous to think what their possible energy costs are. They're like, let me just show you. So the UK government's going to be is thinking about intervening to try and stave off what could be an actual disaster, because households the rise in energy costs are up against like a 90% expected increase in energy bills. So we have here the average annual bill is $2,318, up 54% so far this year. But here's the kicker: it's forecast to shoot past £3,500, which is equivalent to just over $4,000. So we saw a little bit of this happening in Australia, where that we just had a market failure, and the same sort of thing is going on in the UK, driven by the reliance on a war criminal for energy, but also price gouging from the major electricity companies, and what really is poor government policy and decision making in the past. I think it was David Cameron said, let's scrap all this green crap and the investment into renewables, which are so much cheaper to operate, that was cut. And not protecting against this market failure where the smaller electricity providers or gas providers went out of business, and so that left it open to the larger companies to drive their profits up, and of course people just can't pay their energy costs in the UK. With winter coming, it could be even worse, they are saying, than when the pandemic first hit. So all right, so let's start with Ukraine and Russia. So show me who's winning this war. Who's winning? It's not a war, the invasion. Is your Ukraine successfully underlying kind of energies, trajectory? Is Ukraine successfully pushing Russia out? Will Ukraine successfully push Russia out of Ukraine. I'm getting a ringing in my ear. I'm seeing big bouquets of flowers, but also coffins at great cost. The Wheel of Fortune. Fortune has changed for Ukraine. Wasn't a blitzkrieg. Russia thought it would take Ukraine. Three of Pentacles. Ukraine's fortunes has obviously rises and falls on the support of the Western world, and that includes the US, Canada, UK, Europe, Australia, all the Baltic countries, that give so much in relation to their GDP, just as much in relation to their GDP, more actually. Estonia, Latvia, Poland, they're the countries that I'm talking about. Huge solidarity in the Baltic countries against Putin. And I've read on this. I said right at the beginning, this is changing and morphing Europe as we know it, creating new allies, creating new orders are coming out of this. So this is what Putin has achieved, things that he couldn't have foreseen, driving people together, not apart, countries together, not apart. So we have here the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, Ukraine is in a very, very, very strong position. That's Jupiter energy. It's also a Sagittarian card. By December, they're going to be in an even better position. Now we have here loss. And so while we can rejoice at the Ukrainian wins, there's also tremendous loss, as I said. But this is also somebody walking away from what no longer serves them. It's like a resignation and a leaving. Now, my question was, will they successfully push Russia out? I have the Queen of Cups here. I understand that Ukraine is actually bolstering its women into their armed forces. And so, they play a part in their victory as well. But the cost, I'm just seeing the cost here in lives. It's a really, really heavy price for freedom. Page of Wands, looks like there's going to be a victory here, potentially in the sky, crowning this reading. That's moving forward. The Page of Wands moves forward. And there's a joyousness in when we look at it's like the birds, it's a springtime energy. This time, whenever the spring is next year, is going to be a time of peace. So we have here the Knight of Swords. Yeah, that's in the immediate future. There's a decisive victory coming up in the immediate future for Ukraine. Four of Swords, we're looking at retreat, but also wounded in battle. You see, these cards are not going to be glorious, are they? They are going to be realistic about those that have been killed, wounded, maimed in this battle. For Ukraine's freedom, the Six of Pentacles, giving and receiving help. It's kind of like a big reminder of what Ukraine has suffered, what those Russian soldiers that didn't want to be there have suffered, but also how we have helped and we had that responsibility to help. The Eight of Swords is restriction. I think in the immediate future they're going to restrict Russia in some way. Now here's the Hierophant. It's already been ordained in that higher court that Russia's going to be pushed out. They never had a chance here. The Hierophant, the courts, the law, the spiritual law. It's the outcome card, and that's a yes card. This is huge, absolutely huge, huge. The Fool card, new starts, and judgment, inevitability. Look at these outcome cards. I asked, will Ukraine push Russia out? We have here the Page of Wands. These are outcome cards. Yes. And judgment. It's an inevitability. It's an inevitability that they will push Russia out of their country. And why? Because of the support we've given, but also because of their sacrifices. I really don't want to I don't want to, these aren't, I mean, yes, they're glory cards, but I shiver when I think of what Ukraine has lost. And Russian mothers, Russian fathers, of those soldiers that were forced, there's so much, this is an authoritarian regime in Russia. Russia will be remade. And so the next question that I want to see is Medvedev, the former Prime Minister or current Prime Minister, Medvedev. Very close to Putin. Some say he's even worse. No, he's not. Will Medvedev, forgive my pronunciation, will Medvedev replace Putin? I don't think so. We've got 3 of Wands here. That's like something being built up. We've got something coming in time. I don't necessarily, well, let's see. I don't necessarily think it will be. I think Russia will need a new start after Putin, and Medvedev will be more of the same. Will Medvedev replace Putin? Will Medvedev? Oh, wow. So what I'm seeing is a cliff. He wants to. He's walking out on that cliff. He's being stopped at this time by Putin. 9 of Cups, so we've got wish fulfillment here, miracles. He wants it, and he could even be working against Putin. The Moon card, this is clandestine stuff, making his wishes known, talking in this clandestine way here. Betrayal, the 3 of Swords. I don't think it's him. But I think he would betray Putin in a heartbeat. Loss and betrayal for him, for Medvedev. The Ace of Cups, in the past, long time ago, I said that as soon as they could get rid of Putin, they would. The Devil card, yuck, yuck. They're like 2 devils battling on a cliff. He's not loyal. The immediate income is loss. No, I think probably Putin's going to do him in before he even gets there. Now we have here the US coming into the frame and victory. So I see that the help that the US has provided to Ukraine has a far-reaching hand here into creating this new democracy that we're going to see in Russia in years to come. Page of Swords, that's a traitor in the camp, spying, not to be trusted. And we have here justice as the outcome. And the 2 of Swords, a decision to be made and moving out of troubled waters. So at the base of the pack, the King of Wands, we're going to see, I think it is, and the Star card. I'm just not getting a pull to him. I think he's got justice coming. I think he really wants to replace Putin, but somehow he doesn't get it. He might even get knocked off before he can even get there. The Queen of Swords, I think there is, when Putin is, and I do believe he will be assassinated, that there is this remaking of Russia. And it's not right now. I don't think Medvedev does replace Putin. I think it's someone entirely different. Okay, let's have a look at Navalny. Let's see. Alexei Navalny. How is he? He's in that notoriously brutal Russian prison. There are checks and balances on him. Coming from independent type sources. Putin already attempted to murder him once. Is he going to do it the slow way? All right, Navalny. Will Navalny survive this ordeal? Will Navalny survive this ordeal? Navalny. I think he's very unwell. Temperance and moderation and healing, that's balance. And we've got the Knight of Pentacles, sustainability and reliability. The Tower card as the foundation of the reading. It's like he's like a sacrifice. 9 of Pentacles, independence and freedom is in the past. So I get a pull to his wife. 6 of Wands in the sky. There's potentially a victory here. And we've got Justice. Now that was the outcome card. Let's keep going. Oh, here and now. You know, incarcerated. The devil energy is here. But we've also got hope. We've also got hope. And there's that lovely saying, it was in a movie that I watched the other day, and it was very cliched, but very, very touching. Something around hope never dies. Yes, it was I watched the Netflix series The Sandman, and he was able to defeat the devil through saying or embodying hope in his reality, in the endless dream reality. And the reason he was able to defeat the devil was because hope never dies. That's lovely. I do think there'll be justice here. Page of Swords are in the hopes and fears, you know, that somebody will get to him, somebody that's not to be trusted. But we see the King of Wands. I'm going to say, I've got to read these cards. It's a high wire act. His fate isn't assured because there are decisions currently being made about him. But there's hope. Queen of Pentacles. There's hope that not only does he survive victory, potentially he will survive, but not only that, but potentially he could be the next leader of Russia. It could go either way with the Ten of Swords here as we go further into the energies. Yeah, okay, so betrayal, loss, walking away from what no longer serves us, and yeah, loss again. So I'm saying that there's a great deal of anxiety around Navalny, but his family are watching on, and we do see the death card. So either his incarceration is going to end in the months to come, or he's just not going to survive this. I want to just draw a little bit of a clarifier. It could go either way at this time, but I am encouraged not to give you a definitive answer that he will pass away because of that hope card. He could also bring hope in some way. He's victorious either way. I want to say that again. Navalny is victorious either way with this King of Wands and victory card in the outcome. Show me this King of Wands. Will Navalny survive? His courage will survive. Will Navalny survive? Loss, and movement away from trouble. I see his wife being very instrumental, maybe doing some kind of deal. His family and his wife intervening in some way, keeping his name, his case, his justice in front of Russians. His courage is unquestionable, but I'm not sure that he does survive. There is a glimmer of hope left yet. Okay. I don't see that he's dead either. I think he still lives, but I'm just not seeing him very well. Okay, when I say well, as in health-wise, I see him in a bed. All right, so I want to now go to the UK. Yes, I do feel that Truss will be the next PM. But it's a poison chalice that she inherits from a decade of Tory rule. It's like we're seeing the crumbling last age of the current iteration of the Tories. The same as we're seeing the the crumbling decay of the current iteration of the Republican Party in America, and in Australia, the crumbling decay of the Liberal National Coalition Party, the Tories in Australia. As we move forward in our evolving of our humanity, when we work out what serves us and what doesn't serve us, for this period of history, that type of extremist policies, the downfall, what they've given us has been so terrible that it will be a long time before we let that kind of recklessness prevail again. All right, so let's see. I want to know, will they come in? Will they come in? Will the UK government come in and freeze energy costs as we go into this window? Will the UK government intervene? It's going to cost them something like $100 billion, something incredible. Will the UK government intervene and protect householders against these terribly... I mean, people will freeze otherwise. People will freeze in winter because they won't be able to pay their energy bills. Further evidence of the free market failure. That's up for trial as well. How our free markets have failed us. I get really annoyed because it was foreseeable. Piscean time. We've got the hourglass. I'm seeing time. Okay. Time running out. Okay, so will the UK intervene and freeze these household energy costs? Freeze, it's an awful word. This is the Piscean energy here. Poor choices in the past, and we've got a woman. This is the Queen of Wands. This is fire energy. So she could even be Truss when she becomes Prime Minister, has to make this decision. She's left with that poison chalice here. No good choices at all. And it is with the Zodiac represented. This is the Spellcaster deck in each of these cups. This is illusion and delusion, the ending of that. Women play a huge part in taking us forward. Looks like Six of Cups, moving out of troubled waters, transitioning away from what could be a huge problem for householders in the UK. There's the sun over the sun symbol. So she chooses to subsidise. Okay, so they choose to subsidise, I think. That's what I'm seeing so far because I've got sun heating. The Eight of Pentacles in the past, so we've got skill. We've also got, this is foundation stuff as well. Putting money away. They could have even already made the decision to do that. But we've got the Eight of Swords, restriction and being held back. It won't be as simple as just freezing. Even that is not going to help entirely. There will be restrictions on power use. We have hope here, and I really do want to show that to our viewers in the UK. There's hope here. There's hope. We've got the Empress card, Russia in the past. Part of the reason for this, not all, is the reliance on on a war criminal for supply of energy. What on earth were you doing? The Tower card. It was always going to impact on us all. Illusion and delusion. One of the biggest delusions is thinking that not considering decisions and thinking that things stay the same. We all knew who Putin was. The truth in the hopes and fears. And the outcome card is the Six of Wands. So yes, she is. She doesn't really have a choice. We've got the Four of Wands clarified by the Four of Wands. She doesn't really have a choice. Here she is. But it's going to come with huge retraction of the UK economy. It's going to come at a huge cost economically, obviously. I don't think it's going to go all the way to solving it either. Now, we have a great disappointment here. We have the Knight of Wands wanting to move away, the Emperor card. I think everybody in the UK might want to see an election. And to boot the Tories out. They're just not doing well in the elections, and there's a reason why. So I think there's going to be intervention, but she's restricted in some way in how much she can do. So maybe the subsidies don't go all the way. Okay, so I'll leave that there. That's kind of like a little bit of a look into Europe and the UK. All right, I'll leave it there. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and I'll be back again with another reading soon. I do have one of my travel videos, so unless we're going to get huge breaking news this week, I'll probably put that forward toward the end of the week. And I will be doing some more traveling in September as well, so stay tuned for those videos. We all like to be reminded, like those kookaburras reminded me in my previous reading, that we shouldn't and we can't, no matter what our problems are, forget to live. So get out there and do some living. All right, bye for now.